Kerls, did you ever have, along your journey, did you have many, I don't want to say near misses, but any auditions for things that like either never happened or I remember auditioning for, and Serge, you might have even been on this show back in the day, but they were going to bring back Let's Make a Deal. If you remember Let's Make a Deal, what's behind curtain number one, and I auditioned for that, and it was so much fun to audition for a show like that because it was all about audience interaction. Because Vince Sorrenti, did he do that back in the day, Serge? Was it Vince Sorrenti?
Yeah, I think you're right. If you'd asked me who hosted it, I wouldn't have known. But
I think it was
Vince Sorrenti rings a bell.
I reckon it was. But anyway, either way, I don't think Fremantle Media ever ended up making it. But did you have any of those, Kerls?
Mate, I got every audition I went for, and no scrap jobs either. So
you were the first bloke at showbiz.
That's all good.
first human ever. No, absolutely. I think Saturday Night Takeaway. They finally got that this year, but they've been trying to push that out for years. And there was a few times with myself and a guy I was hosting a fair bit at the time with sort of went for it and then sort of got close, but it didn't actually.
I did about 5 auditions for that. I did James Coburn, Chris Smith, me, Scotty Tweedy. Mate, we all did it.
Yeah, it was an odd little, they just couldn't.
And then they chose Julia and Chris. Like, this is another example of where they picked, again, no offense, but like Julia and Chris are great on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. But Saturday Night Takeaway is Ant and Dec. I know they wanted Hamish and Andy. That was the original idea. They wanted that, and Hamish and Andy said they will not do it. So I know that Scotty Tweedy and Kane Tremills, they did a lot of they got down to the wire with that. But again, they just would not get away from this idea that it had to be Hamish and Andy. Then it disappeared off the table for years, and then they bring it back with Julia and Chris. And anyway, the rest is history.
Oh, I remember watching that first night of that, and I thought, all I could think of was, Jesus, how much money have they spent on this? It was an absolute bomb, and you could tell it was never going to fly either. But I can quite easily see them doing it with Hamish and Andy.
Yeah.
They needed a couple of young hosts who are going to muck around and take the piss out of it a bit, not just act as if this was, Mastermind or something.
Yep.
So, again, whether it's hosting shows, being contestants, it all comes down to casting. It's like when I used to do Sale of the Century. We'd go to auditions, and you'd audition, and just about everybody in the room would be smart enough to get on the show. They would get their 37 out of 50 on the test, and then you would just get them up in front of the whole crowd, which might have only been 40 or 50 people, and just get them to say a few words. And you thought, if they stumble there or they can't do that, you just go, mate, you're not going to fly once you're in a studio with lights and there's Lucky Phil over there, and there's Glenn Ridge and Mickey Buckley,
neck of it,
doing his cryptic crossword, and that's all the way through. It was like The Price is Right. And The Price is Right. We always used to describe that as the show for people who aren't smart enough to get on the Sale of the Century, and
not to their faces.
No, but that was always the thing. When the audience would come into the studio, again, they would have 20 seconds with a production assistant who generally had been in the business for maybe a fortnight themselves to make the quick decision, this guy or this chick is going to be fantastic on TV. And it all comes down, sometimes you stumble on people, whether they're hosts, whether they're contestants, whether they're whatever, people behind the scenes people, and you just know you've got the right one. And then when you get the wrong one, all of a sudden that's where your judgment is called into play.
Yeah, that's true. One of the contestants on The Mole, I thought at first, I was like, oh, this chick is going to be a pain in the ass. She's going to be annoying. Anyway, she was gripping as a television personality. She was so into the game. She would have these snappy one-liners that were hilarious but biting. She'd have a go at other contestants. We loved her. The whole production team wanted her to really succeed because she was great to watch. Whereas the ones we thought were going to be good were boring. They gave you nothing. And she ended up getting off the show sort of midway through. We were all so sad because she was an absolute ripper. And she would have been she could have gone on other reality shows and genuinely been, I don't want to say a villain because, there's a lot of talk about that at the moment with that. The chick who came out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, saying that she hasn't worked since My Kitchen Rules, so they made her out to be a villain. And let's be honest, this is, again, the thing that the public don't necessarily know about, the editing that goes into these things. And, they can make you look any way. I mean, there's two sides to it. Yes, they can make you look any way they want. You still got to say some of those things. People are like, they made me look like a prick. Yeah, but you said some really arsehole things. Yeah. But they can certainly do what they want with the edit. But I think she would have been a really good character on other shows. Unfortunately, people didn't see it because we didn't finish our run until 10:30 at night.
Oh, exactly. I mean, that just reminded me. We had a guy on Start of the Century once who was just an absolute pain in the ass. And by the end of we shot the 5 episodes, and I said to my boss, and he was pretty good. He kept winning. I remember saying to my boss, let's find a smart contestant next week. We've got to get rid of this bloke. And he goes, no. He said, you've got to remember. He said, people on this show, the audience, they love seeing nice people win prizes and all the money, because it was life-changing stuff. He said, but don't forget that when you've got a pain in the ass on, people will watch hoping they get beaten. And
I'm back watching the next night and the next
night. Yeah, and as it turns out, this bloke, he won the lot. He won the whole shebang. He was very good, but just a most annoying bloke you've ever met in your life. Yeah. But one of the prizes he won was a convertible Audi. And it's a magnificent car, about a $90,000 car. I remember being in the office about 6 weeks after the show went to air. My phone rings in the office. I pick it up. Okay. So it's Carl here from Melbourne Audi in Elizabeth Street. Oh, g'day, Carl. He said, look, I've got a bit of a problem with one of your Sale of the Century contestants. I said, oh, don't tell me. Kevin? Yeah. And I said, what's the problem? He said, he won't pick up his car. I said, why won't he pick up his car? And he said, he wants a purple one. And he said, I keep telling him, mate, you can have it. They come in black and navy and white and silver and British Racing green, but they don't come in purple. I said, leave it to me. So I rang Kevin. I said, mate, if you read your contract, if you don't pick up your fucking Audi by the end of this week, you lose it. And then I didn't have a leg to stand on legally when I told him that. I said, mate, if you want a purple one, you also won 300 grand. Pop down to Bunnings, get a couple of cans of Berger, and bingo, you've got a purple Audi. But mate, pick it up or you lose it. And there's a sort of stories you stumble across these people, good people and not so good. But you're quite right, Shura. I mean, you just never know who's going to either not come through the doors, but walk in front of your camera. Well, they'll help you make a great show.
It's funny what you're saying before, Shu, and yourself as well, Sergio, about casting being so crucial. But I think the whole ecosystem of a TV show's super important too, getting that perfect storm. You got a good solid format that's been tested, tweaked, and road tested. You've got a good crew, you've got a good director, you've got a good producer. Like the teamwork is sort of what makes it sing. We had a show on Comedy Channel called Balls of Steel, which was a UK format that was beautifully done. I actually tried out for that Shu in answer to your earlier question, and they said no, we can't. It's a hidden camera show. Some people, not many, Kerley, but maybe one or two of our viewers may recognise you, so we can't do it. But Alex Zane did a bunch of game shows, fake game shows. I was like, well, I love what he's done there. How about you just give me a crack at it, and ended up doing the show. But it was Southern Star, I think. So they had a huge database of people who wanted to be on real game shows. Mm-hmm. So casting was the lion's share of casting like you've never seen before. Like thousands of people on a database who want to be on TV, who want to win, shitty trinkets and lumps of cash in front of their peers and family. So we had all these people that were just ripe for the picking for a prank, hidden camera show, and it was just an utter delight. We'd have all these ridiculous sort of game shows. One where you'd have the buzzer would be broken whenever the dummy would sort of try and buzz in. So super simple questions. Have a few stooges, a few actors around them. They'd and then they'd crack it at some point. Emotionally, just crack. Mate, my buzzer's broken. They press it. It works. So you're just pushing their buttons. This one bloke was I think we were playing like a Price is Right sort of piss take. And I stopped in the commercial break, sort of pretended we're going to commercial break and resetting cameras or something, and sort of said, look, mate, we occasionally we have to make someone win game shows. There's a lot of people at home who are a bit depressed. They need a hero. And I spoke to the producer, and you're that guy. So I'm going to tell you the exact price of the car and get you to write that down, and this car is yours. He's like, no shit. I'm like, mate, there's people out there who are on the brink of, just having enough of life. So we've got to pick someone, one in every probably 50 or 60 contestants. You're that guy. It's $89,992 or $95. Play it cool. And so we recorded all this, went to air. He's held up the price of the car, and basically I've given me the wrong price. So I said, and we rolled credits, and I was going to whisper around my mouth, go, mate, every car that gets handed back, I get to keep myself, you silly prick. It's just, but he was a big power lines worker, so he almost wanted to fight me. He was just absolute. The team comes out with party poppers and champagne. It's a prank show. It's fine. It's great. And he still just wouldn't cool down. Most people would cool down, but this guy would push too far. And he'd done some beer commercials, so he just refused to sign the release form. And I think after about a month of back and forth, they paid him a few $1,000, and he was like, "All right, yeah, I'm starting to smile now." But yeah,
it didn't occur to him that you'd actually suggested to him that the pair of you commit commercial fraud on TV. Exactly. We used to get that people about Sale Century go, "Is it rigged?" I was like, "No, trust me, it is not rigged. Yeah. If it was rigged, and it'd be like that quiz show movie. If it was rigged, it would not only be the end of the show, it would be the end of careers, it would be probably the end of the whole Grundy organisation, be the end of Reg himself. It was not rigged." So, James, that is a fantastic story.
I want to say...
You've got to feel for the poor bastard, because he thought he had
bloody oath. Hey, Kerls, I must say hats off to you, because I've only once in my career had to do a fake, prank thing as a host. And I like genuinely felt like butterflies doing it, because and it was a bloody kids show. It was Prank Patrol. So Scotty Tweedy, and he normally pranked little kids, but this was two girls who were pranking Taylor Henderson, who'd just been on X Factor. I think he was 15 at the time, so he was a teenager. He was cluey enough, and the idea was that he was coming on to this this brand new show called Gen Why Not that I was hosting. So I was legitimate. I was playing Shura, Taft, TV presenter, doing this show. It was set up in a TV studio, all that stuff. Anyway, when things started to go wrong, I felt like they were really obvious. So I started to feel a bit twitchy, and I could see him looking around like what's going on, and we they're playing the fool. But it turns out afterwards he had no idea. But I started to feel really bad. I got to ask a question like, "All right, so Taylor, now I've got," and all my information, of course, was wrong. Like, says you grew up here in just outside of Geelong. He's like, "No, I was Ballarat." Oh, okay, no, that's fine. It's just what I got off Google. But it's also. Your favourite thing, your favourite movies. This, he goes, no, yeah. He goes, yeah, and I go, hate that movie. And you had to try and play it straight, but I kept feeling bad, like I was a bad bloke. You did it every time.
Yeah, no, I don't have a soul. I was
about to say you're a prick.
No guilt.
Yeah, that's the backbone's been removed years ago. So no, absolutely. I think it's a tricky line. It's a tricky line. I think if you've got a good relationship with. I think that's where the format comes in. If it's just a prank, there's no walls, there's no sort of framework, there's no fencing around it of what you can do. The structure of something that's been road tested. I think we tried to do the expert game. The expert game was a cracking within Balls of Steel in the UK, but there wasn't enough crazy experts in Australia. That was a really hard cast, because that was beyond what the Southern Star database of game show wannabe contestants would provide for us. So trying to find experts where you'd stitch up, and similar thing to what you're doing with Henderson, sort of saying, oh no, that's wrong, that's not the case, when they know more than anyone. But maybe it's a cultural thing as well. Australians are quite polite, but that was one that got left on the.
I'll tell you one funny story. So Pyramid, as I said, was a game show for kids. It was on every day in the afternoon at 4:00, and it was two kids taking on two kids, and we had a celebrity on each side with the two kids. And, you're doing a kid show, you're pretty limited casting-wise. So we would have some unbelievable guests, and we'd have some lesser-known, actors who'd been a bit part in a certain show, because that's who they could get, and that was fine. And it was great fun for me as a host. Yeah, you did come on. You were very good.
I don't know. Yeah.
But anyway, early on, we were filming in Brisbane. And we had a couple of guests on. And to be honest with you, in the run of 600 shows, and let's say in those 600 shows, there had to be probably at least 80 guests, maybe 100 guests, I don't know. There was only one person that we did. Because normally the celebrities would come on and they do 4 shows each. One celebrity we sent home early because they just clearly just were not made to work with kids. And believe it or not, and look, maybe he's a lovely
guy.
It
wasn't Don Burke, was it? Yeah.
Nah, it was Stephen Bradbury, and he came on, and it was funny, Kerls, you'll love this, because he came on, and I was like, "No, what are you up to at the moment?" He's like, "I'm a motivational speaker. I'm going around getting people." And I was like, "That's fantastic. We're a motivational speaker." So I get him on with the kids, and you know how the mechanic of the show works, Sergio. Basically, a word would come up in front of the celebrity, try and make the kids say that word. You know, it might be bottle. Water comes in it, that sort of thing. This is how he played the show with kids. He goes, pass. It's black. Pass. Oh, I don't even know that word. And we were sitting there going, oh, God, this is a kid's show. We've got to be entertaining. How is this motivational for kids? And he just never came out of that mode of just being like so
just
serious.
Didn't get it.
Didn't. And after his second show, we're like, oh, see, mate, it's fantastic. Thank you very much. That's all we'll need. He's like, I thought I was meant to be here till 2. Like, no, we've wrapped up early. We're all good.
You were so good we finished early,
yeah.
Put the lights back on. No. Anyway, it was a good fun. It was good fun. And Kerls, you were exceptional. I mean, trying to make sure that you don't say the wrong thing in front of kids. We weren't allowed to talk about cigarettes, alcohol, sex, Kerley's love life, which came up a lot, to be honest with you.
All three, generally. Yeah. Did you have a vasectomy this week, Shu? When did you have your vasectomy?
That was 6 weeks ago. Thanks for asking, Kerls. I did put that in the show notes. I was waiting for that to come up, but that was six weeks ago, and feeling good at the moment. Thank you. I've got 2 kids, and that's enough.
Enough. You're not greedy, are you? Enough.
Were there no cameras there at the time, Sure, when you had the operation?
None that weren't hidden, but it was apparently, I mean, it was done in 15 minutes. This is the thing that shocks me, not to go into too much detail, but it was done in 15 minutes.
Ironically, 12 minutes longer than what you were trying to stop. You know?
It was done in a guy's garage, but apart from that,
it's amazing what you can find on Gumtree at a very reasonable price these days.
Now, gentlemen, before we wrap things up, there's been a few these new shows this year. Tell me, you're Bachelor in Paradise watchers? Are you Married at First Sight watchers? You're going to be into the new Bachelor?
I'll probably give the new Bachelor a bit of a run. I met a bloke the other day, literally just met him, and I think he's got a few followers on Instagram, and he had a call from Married at First Sight producers the night before. And he's like, no way. You could tell he was a bit into it, and someone said, they rang up and just dead set just said, no way, not interested. And then sort of had a few more things. I'm like, it sounds like you've said a bit more than no. Sounds like
you've inquired about them.
Are they filming us? We're about to go for an ocean swim, and are they filming us right now? This is a segment. Are we on? Yeah. But it's funny, that personality type that loves, hates it, hates the camera. How's yeah.
Where's my hair and makeup? Yeah. So there's that one's coming up, and holy moly, mini golf. This one's coming up later.
Yeah, I put my hand up for this. I wanted to be part of this. To be honest with you, I put my hand up for every show that's out there, Serge, to be honest with you. But Q&A haven't called back for a while. But anyway, I just thought this was like a fun concept. I'll be interested to see, having been at Channel 9 when, say, Hole in the Wall happened, and there was a while there where we were trying a lot of formats from overseas, and the problem is that they don't always translate. We know that Australian audiences don't get as involved, and Australians are a bit more reserved on camera. Kerls, you know that from Taken Out, than other, like, Americans are very out there, whether it's the audience or the contestant. So I hope it works. And to be honest with you, like, take a show like Ninja Warrior. I don't watch Ninja Warrior religiously, but if it's on in the background, I can watch someone do a run and get into it because it's entertaining to watch someone either succeed or fail. So I guess Holy Moly could have that. But is it going to be something that's going to draw you in every week? I'm not convinced by that. I'm a Survivor. I love Survivor. Yeah. Bachelor in Paradise. My wife and I have a bit of a guilty reality show play. We watch these shows. This series was a bit constructed now. That's the problem. Like, these contestants are going on The Bachelor to try and get on Bachelor in Paradise. It doesn't feel like it used to. Not the old days, when we used to love Bachelor. But
not real enough. Not real enough for you, Shura.
Not real. It's just not real. It's not real.
It's too contrived. Yeah.
Not like when I got to watch my own reality show in front of my own eyes when Kerls was dating a former Miss Universe. I was like, that was what I wanted to see.
That's the real stuff.
I'd have paid money to see that. Don't worry about that. But that's another thing entirely. Now, gentlemen, James, what are you looking forward to?
I'm trying to understand. I've seen some promos for Holy Moly. Are they going to have fresh contestants every episode, or is it like a linear narrative where you can follow them through the whole series? What's the exact breakdown of that format? Because I do like
how they're going to do that. It appears to me, from what I can gather, is that a bit like, as you said, with any sort of game show or physical show like this, that like Shura with Ninja Warrior, almost. The set is the star of the show, basically, and I think this Holy Moly is going to be a bit the same, and it would want to be a pretty impressive sort of mini golf set, I think, because actually watching adults hit putt playing mini putt, it'd want to be a pretty impressive thing. Although you could say
the same, Serge. Yeah, you got correct. You could say the same about. I don't know if you've seen the ad for Ultimate Tag that's coming on Channel 7 next year. I've seen clips of that on YouTube. It's actually very watchable. Watching two people try and chase each other around a course. I used to like watching Minute to Win It. Those sorts of shows where you can really they're bite-sized challenges. Watching someone try and do something, I think these shows work because you think I could do that.
Yeah. Mm. And this is one of the old things in any field of showbiz, whether it's TV or movies or radio. Nobody ever really knows what's going to work. You can have all the research in the world. You can have the greatest experts. It was like when they said we're going to do a show about people building Lego. I thought, really? And then I saw the first promos, and apart from the fact that Hamish Blake was the perfect host for it, I thought
genius.
He's fantastic. But then I saw the promos and I thought, you know what? This is going to be the family hit of the year, which it has been. And it's just, and I think I heard Hamish on Dave O'Neill's podcast the other day, and he was a bit baffled by it as well, But he said the first day on the set, he suddenly thought, oh, hang on, this is going to be okay. I'll put my hand up for the right thing here. But you never
just
know.
Quickly, yeah, but you don't know. And Kerls, I don't know what it was like with Taken Out, but certainly with the Mole, like, you've got things that are up against you because you've got the other networks will choose what they put against you, and they'll do things that are like, well, we got this is almost embarrassing. We got beaten by the Great Australian Bake Off that Channel 9 put on, and I was like, really? Because at the time I was like, nah, we'll smash that. We didn't smash it. We didn't smash it. So you're up against what the network does, and also, I mean, Channel 10 very different to Channel 7, Kerls. You were lucky in that sense, maybe, but Channel 7 pulled the trigger very quickly on things that don't work. And so our ratings dipped a little after the first 3 episodes, and we were moved from 7:30 to 9:30 immediately, whereas Channel 10 have shown in the past that they'll let a show sit at a time slot, build an audience, and even if it doesn't, that's okay by them if they've backed it in to do what it does.
That's very true. Now, gentlemen, we might have to wind things up there. It's been a lot of fun, I've got to say. Instead of analysing shows that we've seen on TV, it's just a bit of self-indulgent rambling about what we've all done. I mean, I think anybody who works in the media or showbiz, there's nothing you like better than talking about yourself. And I think we've done that for the last 45 minutes. So, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We'll do it again very shortly, I hope.
Sergio, send us your invoice for the hour of the 45 minutes of therapy, mate. I appreciate it. Shoot us.
It's a pleasure.
If you guys want the number of a quality vasectomy artist, let me know. I'll hook you up.
I might take you up on that. I don't think I'm capable of it anymore. Right, see you guys.
See ya.